They just stop, like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Let, let us,
And what will she look like when she's a grandmother?
yeah. These kids, they don't want to know that. They're 15, 16 years old. They're immortal.
Yeah, yeah. So when are you guys going up there?
So we're going to leave, it's a long story for me, but I'm going to pick up, Nika on Saturday morning, and we're going to
Yeah.
drive up there. So we should be up there early afternoon.
Okay.
And then the weather's supposed to cooperate, sort of in the 60s, but then it turns back into winter on Sunday.
Okay. So when are you coming back?
We're just going up for one night. It's a
Okay.
first trip, and with COVID and everything, and I have to actually start my baseball coaching on Monday, so I have to be back at work and then go coach baseball. So, and Nika works in a restaurant. Her days off are Saturdays and Sundays and sometimes Monday. So, so we're just going to go up, we're going to go up on, Saturday morning. I'm doing a piece on Claude, so I want to interview Mary about that. Not Mary,
Yeah.
Interview Pam.
Pam. Yeah.
And, they've got some artwork, and then, Charlie's got a whole list of stuff for us to do, like bury a cat, stack some wood. He wants to clean up a bookshelf. What else does he? Oh, and then he also wants to record some poetry. So,
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
so we're gonna have a lot to do.
Well, give my love to Pam and to Charlie. They're just, they're very important people to me, and they've been so kind to me over the years. I really think a lot of them. And,
when was the last time you went up that way?
I've never been there.
You never?
No, and I feel horrible about it, but
it's an out of the way place. I mean, it's up in Cooperstown is. I think it's if you've ever been to the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere, right.
You might as well be going to the Clovis Point or Roswell, New Mexico. I mean, it's nowhere.
When I was doing the Floyd Patterson book, I was going to go to New Paltz, and never even made it there for a variety of reasons. And even from New Paltz, it's still out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean it's off the beaten track, but it's funny the people who ended up there. Cherry Valley, besides Ginsburg, it just seemed to attract a lot of funny people or interesting people.
Yeah.
But hear Charlie talk about it, it's full of meth heads and Trumpers.
Well, it could be. It's like my shock when I learned, 6 months or so ago that one of the states with the most active activity right now is Connecticut. I thought, Connecticut, really?
That's one of the most what activity?
That's one of the places where the Ku Klux Klan is most active right now.
Wow.
And I said, Connecticut, really?
Yeah.
It's just, how crazy is that? But yeah, happened was I did a book, called Chasing the Rodeo.
Uh-huh.
And Roxy Powell read it, and he called me. And so Roxy and I struck up a friendship, and he said, well, you got to meet Charlie Plymell. And I said, oh, yeah, because I'd heard of Charlie, and he introduced me. And those two guys who've been friends forever, and they fuss and fight and everything between each other at times, and they're like brothers in that sense. And but gosh, they just, it's just so good. I have a copy of Roxy's first book. Ginsburg died. That first book of Roxy's he had in the bed with him, with his reading material.
Oh, wow.
And I bought a copy of that online, and it turned out it had belonged to Anne Buchanan.
Wow.
And you know about Anne, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Charlie and Rox said, how about that? And then, of course, Charlie, that sets off the whole Ann Buchanan saga and Alaska and whatever else was involved in it.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why they got married. I still haven't quite figured that out, but they did. And I figured out where she was a few years ago. I don't know if she's, still alive, and if she's still living in that place. She ended up in a Buddhist nunnery, more or less.
Oh, I thought she was in Western Massachusetts somewhere. Is that where it is?
That's where it is, right. Yeah. So, and she was living at some place like that, of these women who were Buddhist and more or less like nuns, from what I gathered. And that's when I found out, and I don't know if Anne Murphy is still alive or not either. But, when I ran her down, she was in an assisted living place in California. And that's been a number of years ago, so I don't know if she's still alive or not. At that point, she had a manuscript about her life with Cassidy. She was being really weird about it. She didn't want anybody to look at it without, if I remember right, she wanted a contract for publishing before she let anybody even look at it. Crazy stuff like that.
And so it never got published.
As far as I know, it's never been published. But like I say, I don't know if she's still alive or not. She was quite a bit younger than Neil, but Neil would be, 95 now, something like that.
Yeah, Neil was I'm going to look up his,
I think he was born in 26.
Right. No, you're right. 26, and he died at 42.
Yeah, 42 in 1968.
He would have been, he'd be 95.
Yeah.
No, 80.
Hard to believe for the fastest man alive.
Right. Well, I was like, when, you're going the right way if traffic's going the other way.
Right. I didn't realize that what was her name? The letter. The letter that Neil wrote to Jack Cassidy.
Right.
The somebody letter that Cassidy or Kerouac said that changed his whole style of writing. And that's actually been published late last year by a British publisher after a copy of it was found. And I read it, and as always, I find stuff that Neil wrote to be a little more compelling than a lot of those guys. And maybe that's because he went to grade school with my father, but
there's an honesty and a plainness. I mean, even the first third, which wasn't much of a book, so to speak, but there's just something, it's compelling. It's sort of like looking at Charlie's work, Last of the Moccasins, against, Kerouac. I mean, Kerouac's a fabulous story and it gets played out, but there's so much more heart in The Last of the Moccasins.
Well, and The Last of the Moccasins is one of the first novels, I think, published that dealt with the urban Indian thing in dealing with Charlie's sister, the character based on Charlie's sister, and all of that stuff. I like The Last Moccasin quite a lot.
No, it's much nice. It's I like the Dharma Bums a lot more than I like On the Road, but it's just something, there's just an honesty to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Dharma Bums, and even, there's more of an honesty to it than just a show.
Yeah, the Kerouac novel I like the best is Big Sur. Which is, pretty honest book about, the DTs and having that, kind of, alcohol fueled nervous breakdown. I like that novel really kind of stood out among his work for me. There's a lot of Visions of Cody I like too.
Mm-hmm.
But